comedian that is loved, there's another that's equally despised. Among those who consider themselves true fans of comedy, few names are more despised than Matt Rife.
Matt Rife.
Rife is statistically one of the most successful comedians in the world. In 2024, he ranked number 2 in global ticket sales.
Damn.
His rise wasn't fueled by the typical respected
57 million. Yeah, no wonder everyone in comedy or in stand-up kind of begrudgingly hates him. Plus, he never came up through Rogan. He never came up through the Comedy Store. Just came up doing his own thing. It's pretty refreshing. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a fan of his comedy, personally. It's not for me. But it's refreshing that he did it all on his own, or his own way. It's not surprising some of these guys don't like him.
grind through comedy clubs, but TikTok.
So how did he not do anything if he worked at the ER? Was he the janitor?
Well, I guess aside from work, if he didn't work,
Aside from work, he didn't do anything. He was saving lives.
This was the first time Rife went viral. Rife admits that even he didn't think the joke was that funny.
Yeah, a video I thought was stupid and didn't want to post anyways. I was like, this isn't even funny.
Rife's genetically blessed bone structure benefits him more than his punchlines, as most of his material revolves around crowd work to his female-dominated audience.
Thank you so much. What's your name? Christina, you are so hot. Thank you so much.
Millions of views just addressing the audience, zero well-crafted jokes.
Thank you so much. What is this? Well, don't clap. It could be a bomb.
that's because of the Build-A-Bear joke.
I came to Iowa and all I got was this t-shirt and a blowjob. Okay, fair play, man. Fair fucking play. I wonder as well how many of these comedians don't even hate Matt Rife because of the money and the success and the sellout shows or the sold out shows. I wonder if a lot of the hate he gets from other comedians is just because he just gets so many women. Like, he gets so much female attention. I wonder if that's part of it. Like, they don't even care about the money and the fame. They just pissed off that he gets all of the mums. He gets all of the yummy mummies that they want. He gets all of the chuckle fuckers are queuing up at his shows. They're not going to their shows anymore. They've noticed a really steep decline in the amount of women in the audience whenever they do stand-up shows. I wonder if that's part of the hate. That would be fucking hilarious. He took all their itches.
Listen, guys, I've never ended a show early before, but I'm sure you would all understand if I had to wrap things up, right? There's one more thing in here. Cookies!
When Rife started to see success, he made it a point to align himself with the same audience as the uber-successful Rogan Sphere community.
By the way, I also find it interesting that Tom Segura took it upon himself to be like Matt Rife's mentor. I don't know how that relationship came about. Do you guys know in the stream chat, if you guys know part of that lore? I find it interesting how, for some reason, why was Tom the one to be like his mentor? Did he kind of appoint himself he's Matt Rife's mentor so he could be next to him and be like, you know, adjacent to success or something? That was a strange one out of nowhere. It kind of felt a little bit clout chasing, I'm not gonna lie. It felt a little bit clout chasing. Maybe Matt Rife seeked him out. Maybe he's a fan of your mum's house. Maybe he kind of tries to, or maybe he looks up to Tom and that is one of his North Stars. But I always found it strange that Tom Segura was like his guy. It's very, very odd.
We were saying about my looks earlier.
Yeah.
It's created this very hungry, supportive fan base that I'm so grateful for, and has gotten me this far.
Yeah.
But now
Powerful
I am having
bunch.
to...
Yeah, Young Lord vibes.
It came about because he sat in the corner while Matt pounded Christina P.
Yeah, I could imagine that. That whole lifestyle, that whole cuck lifestyle is probably a lot more popular than I would ever imagine, or that I would ever think it would be, to be fair. So that could definitely be true. Or maybe Christina P's had a little play, or has had a little go on the Matt Rife magic stick, even without fucking Tom Segura knowing. Who knows? Big up Young Lord vibes.
Weed through those and find the real comedy fans, because that's what I've been working so hard for the past 12 years. You know?
Right. How do you do that? Like, you just...
You have to stay true to the craft.
In an effort to appeal to the demographic he lacked, he pandered to them by opening his first special with a joke about domestic violence.
Only been to Baltimore one time. I ate lunch there, and the hostess who seats you at the restaurant had a black eye. And my boy who I was with was like, "Yeah, I feel bad for her, man. I feel like they should put her in the kitchen or something." And I was like, "Yeah, but I feel like if she could cook, she wouldn't have that black eye.
In what seemed like an
Such a weird move, isn't it? Like, such a weird move. I wonder if he really was annoyed that he had so many female fans, or was he really trying to like suck up to or get the favor of other comedians? It seemed like such a strange move. You've already got a decent fan base. You've already got like a rabid fan base, right? Of mainly women who want to sleep with you, or just women who think you're cute. Why would you throw that all away so that you could get what real comedy fans by making a joke like that? Like, it's not even funny. It's just like tasteless and mean. It's just strange. It's a strange pivot. It obviously hasn't hurt him anyway, because you know he's still doing really well. He's fucking making, what was that, 57 million on tour and stuff. But I always found that decision to be odd. It kind of reminds me of, like, you remember when you were in school and like a cute girl in school liked you, or when you're in high school or something, and your friends, because they were uncomfortable that no girl liked them, they tried to convince you that that girl was ugly or something. If like a cute girl was into you, and you'd be like, yeah, that girl's not good looking, and then later on down the line, one of your friends ends up fucking dating her, and you're like, fucking hell, I thought you said she was ugly. You know what I mean? You know how boys can be just like mean like that. So I wonder if like comedians are doing that to him in the same way, like, oh, like he's being hacky, he's playing up to his audience, he only gets laughed because he looks the way he does. So he tried to like appease those fucking dusty, shitty, hacky comedians themselves by purposely trying to piss off his own fan base in order to kind of get them on board, which is odd, isn't it? You're trying to play for the small community of, or the small number of comedians in the green room, as opposed to your actual. I never got that, by the way. I remember comedians used to say that. That's the thing that Rogan used to say. Oh yeah, I'm always performing for the comedians at the back. How about performing for the people in the crowd who've paid for their seats, who've paid for drinks, who've paid fucking, who contribute basically to your fucking booking fee? What about that? I always found that extra odd when they used to do that. But yeah, maybe Matt Rife knows best.
Effort to cancel himself. When the backlash inevitably followed, he doubled down, posting a link titled "Click here if you were offended," which redirected users to an image of a special need.
Oh really? Big up Young Odd Vibes. If you ever listen to what he says, he's always been very rude to women. They legit had a group chat for all these side chicks. Okay, really? Okay, so he's always been a bit of a piece of shit to the ladies. Again, that's a shame. Like I said previously, like, I don't understand why they can't. I'm sure there is prominent ones that exist, but for the most part, I don't really like the fact that a lot of these well-known bachelor types are usually pieces of shit to girls, especially the ones that kind of jump into their DMs and stuff, or slide into their DMs. I don't think you need to do that. Like, why can't there just be dudes who are like, like to fuck, girls like to fuck them, but they just treat girls nicely and, have decent interactions and experiences with them? There's nothing wrong with doing that also. But it doesn't seem to be the case. For whatever reason, all these like playboy bachelor types seem to always treat their female fans very, very poorly. Maybe it's just too much power, right? Maybe you get kind of drunk on that kind of power and influence and the ease at which you can get some of these women. But I don't know. It doesn't need to be that way. It could still be a nice experience, where you don't sell people dreams, where you don't lie to them, you're honest to them, you treat them well, show them a good time, blah, 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 blah. I don't know.
Needs helmet. While Matt Rife built his career on his jawline and viral TikToks, Shane Gillis took the long road, the one paved with failure, open mics, and actual jokes. Originally enrolled at West Point, Gillis dropped out and returned to his hometown of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
I went from like being a senator to school as soon as I quit, because I stopped going to class, and then I quit while I was there, like right away.
So you were good?
I was good, but I also failed out of school as soon as I quit because I stopped going to class.
Oh, you did an episode with Dave Chappelle? I don't remember that. That's pretty sick.
So I went from West Point to Harrisburg Area Community College in like a year and a half.
Jesus.
I went from like being a senator to I was literally washing dishes at my friend's restaurant.
Gillis would soon discover stand-up comedy through open mics.
One of the guys that worked at the restaurant was doing an open mic at the Harrisburg Comedy Zone. And I was like, oh, that's how you get into comedy. I had no idea how to get into comedy.
He built a following the old school way, grinding on the road, working in Philadelphia, and eventually making his way to New York, all while co-hosting a weekly podcast with his best friend, Matt McCusker.
We're going to touch on a few topics today. We're going to touch
jacking off for about 1 hour. And that's it. That's the only topic.
That persistence finally paid off when he was cast on Saturday Night Live. But almost immediately, the same podcast that got him the gig resurfaced in a now infamous clip. The news article headlines outweighed the context of the actual joke.
I should have done it harder to make it clear. Like the meh.
Do you remember when Brendan criticized him on this as well, by the way? That was still a funny era. Brendan criticizing Shane Gillis for the fucking joke that got him fired on SNL. Brilliant. Kicking him while he was down. Brilliant shit.
But it was clearly, to me, what I was going for was pointing out how dumb somebody would have to be to segregate a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the type of words they would use. Now, what really sucks is having to break down comedy and explain anything.
With SNL simultaneously celebrating their first Asian American cast member, the writing was on the wall. Despite making an apology, Shane was fired before he ever made it to air. Ironically, the firing made him more famous. Viewers who looked into his work didn't find hate, they found someone who was actually funny.
I was in an Uber, I was talking to Matt, and I was like, dude, Ye just texted me.
That's crazy.
Did you show that to the guy next to you?
I was in the back of an Uber, just like, like he wants to talk right now. It's like, I'm in an airport, I can't. I was just trying to buy time. I was like, holy. Because I knew whatever he said, I was going to say yes. I love Kanye West. I love his music.
Instead of fading away, Shane doubled down, releasing sketches that many consider funnier than anything SNL has produced in decades.
Hey, Shane! Hey, good morning.
Good morning, come on in.
Wow.
Nice shirt.
What sound does a wolf make?
Wolves.
His podcast has grown to the #1 podcast on Patreon, and his first special, Live in Austin, currently has over 41 million views on YouTube.
He might have
41 million. God damn.
are straight as hell, dude. We hate the environment.
This guy delivers his comedy in such a natural way. He sounds like a buddy cracking jokes at a party. What I love about his style is that it feels improvised. His cadence and delivery sounds less like a stand-up routine and more like he's just talking with his friends at a bar. The sign of a classic comedy special is that you can go back to it dozens of times and laugh as hard as you did the first time. This is one of those specials.
Wow, you don't get some of these reviews on the on some of the stuff that we watch, innit? Some of the stuff that we watch on this stream, you don't get some of those comments. Jesus Christ.
The special was so successful, his second special, Beautiful Dogs, was released on Netflix. The show that once rejected him is now calling him back, as he's now hosted SNL twice. He's selling out arenas, and his show Tires, which he co-created, produced, and stars in, is in its second season on Netflix. Throughout it all, Gillis has stayed humble, grounded, and focused, letting the comedy speak for itself. Unlike the next comedian, Bert Kreischer.
The funny thing is, Bert secretly not so secretly hates and is jealous of Shane Gillis too. So this makes it really good how he's paired this up, because Bert absolutely hates Shane.
Bert became famous before he ever told a joke. While still in college, Rolling Stone published a feature calling him the #1 partier in the nation.
Rolling Stone magazine wrote a 6.5-page article calling me the #1 party animal in the country. It was a big deal. It was a really, really big deal. It changed the direction of my life.
That article would eventually become the inspiration for the movie Van Wilder.
Isn't that nuts? It's literally a movie based on Bert.
You know what's funny though about the article? I just thought about it now. It's not surprising that Bert is the way he is, because if you lived in a small town and some guy in your small town happened to have an article written about him in the New York Times, the whatever, the Wall Street Journal, even if they were in their 60s, they would still be talking about it, right? They would never let you forget it, and they'd always bring it up. It's sort of kind of reminds you of like the high school or the college or the high school athlete, the person that broke the record, or the one that had the, or the one that won the most championships, or whatever it may be. That type of person, if they live in the same area around the same people they grew up with, they usually don't let go of that part of their identity. It's a part of them that they keep until the very end. So it's no surprise that Bert turned into this adult grandpa fucking frat boy thing, because deep down that's his part. That's a big part of his identity. The party, frat boy, beer drinking, shot drinking, t-shirt off kind of dude. He's always been that way. So he's probably going to be that way until the bitter end, unfortunately for us.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like they wrote a story about it for Rolling Stone magazine.
The original title was The Interruption.
It reminds me of me.
You guys have such good bird.
And for Bert, that reputation of a loud, shirtless, hard-drinking party guy became the act. To casual fans, he's a lovable goofball, but among die-hard comedy purists, Bert is often viewed as everything wrong with modern stand-up.
I am the machine.
Aside from being shirtless and abusing alcohol, he built an entire career off of a persona that revolves around one story.
Don't worry, I didn't drive out here not to tell that story, okay, guys? You think you gave me all these cameras and I won't bring that up? Yeah, I am the machine.
A tale he's told so many times it was eventually turned into a $20 million movie
Insane.
that made just half that at the box office.
20 million. Imagine spending $20 million to tell the machine story on the big screen. $20 million. Money really is fake, isn't it? Money is fucking fake, man. It's all a scam. Like, could you imagine needing $20 million to somehow get across the machine story? God.
On stage, he's shirtless and hammered. Off stage, particularly on podcast, he's known for talking over guests.
Oh, what Joe does that you don't have the capacity to do is not make it all about himself.
Hold on.
Exactly.
No, hold on. There's a clip. No, hold on.
That's a
you.
There's got to be a clip out there of you not interrupting.
No,
Fine.
If it's like intense cardio, I've sometimes had to reach into my pants and pull my dick out
of my body.
Out of my body. Yeah,
I've had to pull my dick out of my body
dick's
before.
inside my
it
body.
goes back inside like I'm getting.
Wow. Look at the interruption. I didn't even realize that. Look at it's literally like he's inside of Tom's body. That interruption was so weird. Like, let him finish his fucking thought. Wow.
That's There's got to be a clip out there of you not interrupting.
No.
Fine.
If it's like intense cardio, I've sometimes had to reach into my pants and pull my dick out
of my body.
Out of my body.
I've had to pull my dick out of my body
dick's
before.
inside my
it goes
body.
back inside like I'm getting recircumcised.
Yeah, I can't even.
I am so glad that you said that. I feel like
he can't finish. It's so good. He can't finish his thought.
I was the only one that moment where I said to Leanne, I was like, "Am I a narcissist?" I said this in Paris, and she was like, "No, you're not a narcissist." I go, "Would a narcissist know it though?"
This is like the 5th time on a podcast Brent has realized that he makes everything about himself. The biggest difference between Shane and Bert is that Shane is funny and Bert hangs out with funny people. Bert doesn't have the capacity to understand the difference between caring about yourself and making everything about yourself. Bert's not only considered a narcissist, but his drinking has become such a concern that his friends created Sober October just to force him into a break from alcohol.
I have like 9 drinks a night, and you know Joe with his little like I'm Karen eyes, buddy. You see, wait, hold on. Oh, you almost see him write you off in his eyes. Like, I can't with people that drink like that.
Because you're going to die anyway.
Yes, Tom Segura starts laughing and he goes, "They're doubles." Joe goes, "What?"
So it's 18.
He goes, 18 drinks a night. 18 drinks a night. He has 18 drinks a night. And you watch Joe just. So then Joe said, "We should go sober. We should do Sober October."
That's
and
why he did it.
And then, yeah, of course.
So
And
he
then
can help you.
And then he said, he goes, "Hey, man, you may need medical help to get off this."
Ironically, Bert would later become the reason the group stopped doing it altogether after repeated fallouts.
No, what Joe does that you don't have the capacity to do is not make it all about himself.
And yet, despite the criticism, Bert remains one of comedy's top earners, routinely landing in the top 10 year after year. While
It's a bit skewed though, as someone else mentioned previously in the stream chat. Big up the stream chatters. This number's a little bit, it's kind of out of context because most of this also accounts for that fucking, what's that tour he does? That tour he does with all these other comedians. So that's the reason why he's able to gross nearly 30 million when it comes to his tour. It's not just solely based on his own tour, which is, it's still bad because, who's watching him even perform live is fucking crazy. But that kind of puts some context to it because he's got loads of other big comedians on his tour. Sometimes he has like some Bobby Lee, other ones as well on there. So it makes a lot more sense.
Theo Von may not be in the top 10 in ticket sales, he's number 1 in comedy fans' hearts.
My cousin got bit by a gay guy. So we'll see,
Theo's podcast this past weekend is one of the most beloved among all comedy podcasts.
I appreciate it, and thanks, brother. We're not racist, or I'm not trying to be. You know, I have some flare-ups in traffic, but overall, I'm good. I'm doing my best, man. I'm out here on the front lines of not trying to be.
What makes Theo likable is that he's not just a stand-up or a podcaster, he's a true comedian.
Dude, I used to do, sometimes I would do some...
Isn't that funny, though, that they're two of the opposites, right? These guys are two of the opposites.
My freaking eyes.
Two of the opposites, right? Let me go back. One person, Sebastian Maniscalco, one of my favorite stand-ups. He's great stand-up in my personal opinion. Super, super funny. But on pods, he's awful. Really bad podcast guest. I think he used to have a podcast too, and it was super boring. I remember trying to listen to it a few times. Very, very boring. His own podcast, as a podcast guest, he's absolutely terrible. Theo Von, on the other hand, incredible podcast host, great podcast guest, right? Got some legendary clips of him on there on pods, really funny, but his stand-up is pretty dog shit. You know? It's really interesting, isn't it, how that happens. For whatever reason, Theo can't seem to replicate his, hilariousness on pods on stage, and for whatever reason, Sebastian Maniscalco can't, do the same thing when it comes to his stage performance and on pods. Really, really odd.
For a podcaster, he's a true comedian.
Dude, I used to do, sometimes I would do some, my freaking eyes would dry out.
Ooh,
and
look at you grinding. You're thinking about it. Going,
dude, yeah.
Fucking
I remember I had to lick my hands and then rub it into my eyes.
Whoa.
So that I could even blink well.
Jesus.
I was getting dehydrated, boy.
That's deep. You go deep, huh?
Oh, dude.
But you're that dude. You go deep with whatever you're doing.
I like to get right on the... I like to be a peeping Tom if I can. I'll watch your whole family eat dinner.
His podcast consists of guests from blue-collar workers to celebrities and even the president, treating every person the same no matter who they are.
How did you get addicted?
No, I would just do. That was really That's
down and dirty, right?
Yeah, it started to make me feel like I was a mechanic or something.
So do you weigh up more than anything else you can think of?
Turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'll be out on your own porch. And you'll be your own street lamp. You're freaking.
My favorite part of this interview is that Theo does not treat Trump like a celebrity. He's not trying to impress him. He's just himself. Only Theo can interview Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump in a week and then turn around and interview a lunch lady and a mall cop. No script, no teleprompter, no note cards, just a conversation. For Theo, the comedy doesn't come from trying too hard. It comes from being himself, something the fans can see and something Andrew Schulz would never be praised for. Schulz is a combination of
Andrew Schulz, mate. It started off he had a period in the beginning where he was alright and decent, but then as soon as the fame come, bro, his head got so fucking big and he's so insufferable, right? He's so obnoxious. He loves the sound of his own voice. He's such a smarmy fucker. It so quickly went downhill. But I remember that first appearance he did on Rogan. He was pretty on point. I thought he was pretty funny. Enjoyed him a couple of times when he was guest, especially on TFATK early on. I thought he was pretty decent. But it went to shit pretty quickly, man. Pretty quickly. And his stand-up isn't that great either, to be honest. Personally, I think he's very, very overrated when it comes to stand-up.
Bert Kreischer and Matt Rife. On the surface, he appears to be a superstar comedian, but to true comedy fans, Schulz represents something else entirely. A master marketer, like Bert. Someone who got famous not for being a good comedian, but portraying it.
Yeah. Being a great actor is being dumb. If you're great at being dumb, you could be a great actor.
Between 2018 and 2019, Schulz uploaded over...
He thinks he's so profound, isn't it? He does. I think he sells it well too, by the way. I think that's something I don't do enough of. There's a lot of double speak. There's a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot of I'm probably a little bit too honest in the way that I speak in terms of not knowing what I don't know. But I think the real key to success is acting like you always have the answers. Acting like you always know what the right answer is. You're always sure. Even when you're not sure, you're always sure. You know? It's so fucking good. Because he really thinks he's being very insightful there, and he said something that no one has ever thought of in their entire lives, and he's 100% right in what he said there. One more time. That was horrendous take. I don't know what that even fucking meant. I don't know if he was trying to tell on himself, whatever it was.
A master marketer, like Bert. Someone who got famous not for being a good comedian, but portraying it.
Yeah. Being a great actor is being dumb.
Okay.
If you're great at being dumb, you could be a great actor.
Between 2018 and 2019, Schulz uploaded over 125 stand-up clips to YouTube, just hoping to land that one viral.
Jesus, is that true? Fucking hell. You put that graft in, innit?
Crowd work clip.
Remember, like the first video that went viral, it was a joke about how like the food is better in countries where the women have less rights. And and it went viral.
Nothing's all good, nothing's all bad, right? Like there's a lot of countries in the world that treat women like that's fucked up, but they got the best food.
I just started posting a clip every single week for a year.
And the strategy worked. He flooded the internet and built a brand. His act is confident, but the jokes aren't there.
Oh, okay. Men, we don't do that. We only wash our hands if someone else is in the bathroom.
A big portion of the hate comes from his podcasting, offering pseudo-philosophical epiphanies like he was the first person to ever think deeply.
This is going to sound weird, but like I think drugs are almost like a...
I remember when Shane took the piss out. I think he stops doing it now, by the way. Have you noticed? I feel like Andrew Schulz doesn't do this as much. When Shane started to take the piss out of him about like his epiphanies, when he looks up into the air. I don't think he does it as much. Or am I bugging? I don't feel like he does this as often. He's trying to look for the words. Big up Shane Gillis, man. He's so good.
Necessary component to dealing with life in the way we have to live it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you need to do drugs if you're fucking in Alaska.
Exactly. Oh, there it was. Yeah, exactly. Shane. Exactly. Big up Shane.
I love Schulz
What are you
epiphanies.
talking about?
Schulz epiphanies are my favorite.
Yo.
He repeats a statement. He's like,
That's crazy, though.
One more time.
Alaska.
One more time.
These are almost like a necessary component.
To ever think deeply.
This is going to sound weird, but like I think drugs are almost like a necessary component to dealing with life in the way we have to live it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you need to do drugs if you're fucking in Alaska. Yeah.
I love Schulz
What are you
epiphanies.
talking about?
Schulz epiphanies are my favorite.
Yo.
He repeats a statement. He's like,
That's crazy, though.
Schulz is more akin to a snake oil salesman than a
So
comedian.
good.
He told fans his pay-per-view special would only be available.
Oh, let's see this. Got scammed by Schulz. I was one of the idiots who paid money to buy his recent special, Infamous, through Moment House. With the ticket, I also purchased a signed poster on July 29th, 2002, which I still have not received, by the way. I have been begging Moment for a refund for the poster these past few months, but they either sorry they'll refund me, or they'll check in with Andrew's team to see, or they'll ghost me. Anyone else in my position? Jesus Christ, man. Scamming your own fans off a poster. Really? Poster?
Available for a short time, then gone forever. 2 weeks later, it was on YouTube for free.
I'll be honest, I never sucked. I could do it. I know that. I could do it.
I do not understand how people aren't repulsed by this man immediately. He oozes goofy kid who tried too hard to be funny in class, but nobody ever laughed at his jokes. Schulz is not funny. He got big during lockdowns. I know I sound like a big hater, but I don't care. Rogan Sphere comedians are getting tiresome. A large portion of the backlash surrounding Schulz stems from his most watched podcast clips. In one infamous moment, Schulz tried to convince a guest that one of the most addictive substances on earth wasn't actually addictive, all while attempting to pressure him into taking it.
Try one of these. It's nicotine.
Oh, hell no.
No.
You're going to be hooked. No, I'm good.
It's not about a hook.
You won't get hooked.
It's
hell no. I'm good.
It's like a dip.
No,
just try it.
No.
Will you just try it?
I got addictive personality for real.
This is not going to make you addicted.
No, we're not doing it.
Just try it.
No, I can't do it, brother.
You can literally take it out a second afterwards. You're not going to feel anything.
Hell no. Hell
just
to the
try
no.
one.
No, I can't do it, brother. I can't do it, bro.
Just try the white boy shit for one. Why are you so afraid? We drank Hennessy the whole time. We finished a whole...
No, I get it.
Why not just try one?
No, because I'm going to be addicted.
You're not going to be addicted. It's such a stupid thing to think.
Schulz is despised because he's proof that in today's world you don't have to be the funniest to win. You just have to look like you are. Unlike the next most beloved comedian, Mark Norman. Norman is Jerry Seinfeld on crack. Literally.
Love it. I did crack once.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Is that right?
a fan gave me Molly, and I was like, oh, and I mean the lady went to Paris.
I think the worst version of Mark Norman is his podcast. If you're a fan of Mark Norman, don't listen to Cheers of His Stories. I think he's probably better on that pod he does with the other guy, Sam Morril, the one about drinking. But don't listen to Cheers for Stories with Mark Norman, with Joe List, because that version of Mark Norman's kind of annoying. I'm not going to lie. Maybe because I don't like frantic people, or I don't like guys who are like, don't have, like people that like enjoy not being in control, or enjoy like just fucking around. I don't know. He's always, like the stories that annoy me the most on Cheers for Stories are the stories where he talks about his weekend comedy gigs, like transfers and missing flights and rushing to this spot to that spot, like always like rushing places, forgetting things, losing this, losing that. I just can't do it. It just annoys me. It's like, bro, get your life together. Like, how old are you? Like, why are you always so like unprepared and late and running around last minute, frantically doing this, frantically doing that? Either get an assistant or just fucking wake up. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that difficult. So I think that version of Mark, I'm not really the biggest fan of, but when he's a guest on shows, he's really funny, personally. I think his stand-up is pretty decent. Nothing crazy to write home about. Although I do think Mark Norman's one of the type of people who is probably a lot funnier in real life. Like, if you went to see him, I think you'd have a really fun time. And he does at least go on stage and try and make people laugh, you have to give him that. He's not going on stage trying to give you a lecture, trying to tell you how to live your life, trying to tell you what political opinion to have. He just gets on stage and tries to have a funny, silly time. So I rate him for that. But I think you just limit your podcasting, input from him, from that show he does with Sam Morril, Save Our Parks, and that's about it. Don't listen to him on his own pod, because I think that version of him will drive you nuts, like it did with me.
To do crack at the Louvre.
Norman is what comedy purists would call a wordsmith, efficient with every punchline.
I told an abortion joke recently, and a woman approached me. She was like, hey, that's very insensitive. I've had an abortion. You shouldn't tell jokes like that. I was like, whoa, hey, sorry, I just told a joke. I think what you did was much worse. We hate to admit it, we've come a long way. Like in the 50s, we had whites only and blacks only water fountain, which is incredibly sad, especially if you're a thirsty Asian.
What truly separates him from other comics is his honesty. In an era where most comics are too afraid to call Joe Rogan out, Norman will roast him to his face.
You got a crazy gorilla monkeypox hand.
Fucked up
Monkeypox hand. Yeah, look at that. You're gonna climb the Empire State.
They don't fit most of my body. I think I didn't get enough food when I was small.
Yeah, you got proportions, dude.
Can you wear
Your
this?
action figure.
For real, you look like a gorilla up on stage.
Someone in my ancestry, monkey.
You're a silver hack.
Holy shit. That's so good. You're a silver hack. No, that was too good. One more time.
Proportions, dude.
Can you wear
Your
this?
action figure.
For real, you look like a gorilla up on stage.
Someone in my ancestry, monkey.
You're a silver hack. All right, we're back.
It's blown outward.
Whoa.
Like it's blown out. Now, I'm obviously not a bomb expert, but I talked to one.
You should see erect.
One more time. Too good.
All right, we're back.
It's blown outward.
Whoa.
Like it's blown out. Now, I'm obviously not a bomb expert, but I talked to one.
You should see erect.
He can't stop himself.
All right. Keep going.
That bomb joke cut way deeper than Joe let on.
Exactly.
Norman is a savage. Every time Joe shouts he can't help himself, he thinks I envy this guy. All of the jokes you lay in bed and think, I should have said that. Mark said it. That's all I got.
Oh, that's fucking brilliant. Big up Apologia Comedia. Honestly, one of the greatest channels out there. Check them out. Fucking brilliant. I love Apologia Comedia. Make sure you give them a little like. Make sure you give them a little like. Make sure you give them a little like. Let's move things up. Actually, I want to check Mighty D. Let's check out Mighty D. Mighty D's got a new DSP video. Let's check this out quickly and then we'll move on. Let's do a little bit of DSP. DSP, old washed up YouTuber demands more money to build Lego. Let's play it. Yeah, this is good. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. What the fuck is DSP doing? What the fuck is... Actually, before I do that, let me actually close the window too. It's getting a bit cold over here.